Hi, and welcome to the podcast. Today we are giving some advice. I am giving some advice. I think there's like multiple people here or something. I'm giving some advice on random stuff I find on Reddit. We haven't had anybody send anything in yet, so why do I do that? I haven't had anybody send anything in yet. I act like there's a team of people on this thing. So right now I'm just kind of going through Reddit and finding things to give advice on, which is actually great. Keeps it totally anonymous. I don't know what anybody looks like, sounds like, what their name is, other than what's on Reddit. Great anonymity, and I would like the same if you're going to send it in. This one is called When Should I Ask for Employee Resignation? Now, this is just off the title alone, I'm going to say it's kind of going to be a difficult one, right? So good thing I have beer. Let's go ahead and move forward with the advice on this. One of the employees that works for me has interviewed and accepted another position. Some backstory. I've been aware that this employee was unhappy for quite some time. If you've been aware of it, why haven't you done something to change it? Just saying. They've only been on my department for 9 months, but made me aware that they were not happy very early on. I've always encouraged this person to look at other opportunities within the company, so I wasn't surprised to hear they were finally interviewing. In fact, I was elated because this employee does not produce quality work. Well, no shit. They're not happy in where they're at. Go figure. They are older than me and frequently made comments comparing me to their children who are around my age. As such, whenever I needed to address performance issues, they would get highly offended with me. At one point, this person began to yell at me on the phone, and it felt like I was getting yelled at by my parent. So I let them know that I was going to end the call and we could talk later because they were clearly upset. Well, no kidding. And that, you know what? That kind of bothers me too. Older people that are like, oh, well, why is this person my boss? They're the same age as my kid. Well, get your game up then if you don't want to be having somebody the same age as your kid being your boss. Due to my elevated security clearance, I am able to see that they accepted another job. That was a lateral move last week. They've put in for vacation a few days before their transfer. No issues with that because I usually do the same. So their last day is next Friday. This person hasn't said anything to me, their manager, or any of the other management team about their departure. That's kind of fucked. Since I will be out on vacation myself for 1.5 weeks after this Friday, should I say something to them? How should I initiate this conversation if they don't bring it up? I mean, tell them before they leave they need to have some form of letter of resignation. At least it's not like it's a lateral move within the company, so it's not like they're straight leaving the company. You don't need a 2-week notice, but need something. I'm assuming even a 2-week notice would be good because then you can get somebody else in there to fill their position. I can't start recruiting to fill a position until I get their notice. Lead with that. Hey man, I can't start recruiting to fill your position until I get your notice. Can you have that to me by end of day? Seems pretty clear cut. The problem I have with this one is that it's always some older person that they've never moved up or whatever it is, and they obviously are going to have younger people be their boss at some point. And to be quite honest, if you're not going to move up in a company, you can't be upset that your boss is a younger person. You really can't. If you are upset with that, then you need to up your game because Younger people are going to be your boss, and you're just going to have to fucking deal with it, dude. I'm not saying that to this person, but like to anybody out there that's younger or older and has a boss that's younger than them, don't be a cunt to them. Just don't. I mean, fuck, get better. That's what it comes down to. Like it or not, I said what I said. All right, on to the next one. This one is good. Yeah. I don't even know if I'm really completely qualified to give advice on this one. I need real advice. Family member having a potential mental break with reality, and I don't know where to turn. So you turn to Reddit. Great title. Got me drawn in. Tell you that much. Clickbait. An extended family member contacted my sibling, who then contacted me. I'm calling them extended fam person. I'm calling the extended fam person Brian. Brian called my sibling and relayed the following via phone. You think? I would assume, since they called. Okay, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to dog this person. People are after him, planning to kill him because he knows too much. Some of the people don't exist. Others are family members who would never harm Brian. His house was broken into, so he is boarding his pets and couch surfing. Then it goes beyond normal paranoia. Religion is brought in. We are all atheists. Brian is supposed to be a god, but the people against him are preventing it. Okay. That's the bare bones, but the conversation was much longer. I'm guessing that Brian is having a psychotic break. His family history includes a schizophrenic uncle on his dad's side, bipolar disorder, undiagnosed narcissism, depressive disorders, eating disorder on his mother's side. I thought there was going to be more than that because they didn't have like and in there. I live hours away. Sibling is currently thousands of miles away. How do we get Brian help? I'm worried about suicide rather than violence. Gonna be real with you here. That's a 5150 right there. I know he's not like harming anybody or anything like that. I mean like general welfare check, I guess. But that sounds 5150 for sure. Try to get him into therapy of some sort, and he might be able to get prescribed with something. That's actually a really tough one. Like I said, I don't think I'm qualified to give advice on this one because I'm not. I'm not like a psychiatrist or anything like that. I just kind of just give advice from the outside. So, that's a toughie. I mean, you'd have to call him and talk to him, but if he is having some sort of a psychotic, paranoid, bipolar, schizophrenic issue here, you're either going to have to contact authorities and put it in a 5150, or you're going to have to that's a tough one, but if you're not so much worried about harm to others, but more about suicide, I think that would be a good point to bring up as well. So if you do call authorities, let them know, like, more worried about suicide. He's not going to hurt anybody. He's just super paranoid and probably needs to be admitted. But if you're able to do it without him being admitted and talk to him and be like, dude, that's not at all what's going on. I've heard something about schizophrenia being able to be brought up in high stress situations, and then all of a sudden you're schizophrenic. Could be totally false. I mean, there's people that say marijuana causes schizophrenia, so you never know these days. But that's a really tough one. Definitely talk to him first. Reassure that he's fine. And I mean, if it persists and you really think that he's gonna harm himself or somebody else, it might be time to call the authorities and get that all figured out. 5150 status. Yep. This one might actually be up my alley. Um, Mainly because I have issues with a parent myself. This one says, need help with parent relationship. That's the title. I always read the title in case you haven't caught on. I, 25, female, am looking for advice on how to heal from a painful relationship with my parents. To give you a little backstory, I grew up as a child of missionary parents. Due to the political and social climate of the country I was raised in, it is safe to say that I did not grow up in a safe environment on any level. When I was around 11 or 12, the country shut down due to political upheaval. Although we had a window of time to leave the country, my parents chose to stay. This time that we were stuck has left me with lasting trauma that still affects me today until today. Well, till today. Unfortunately, this is not the only example of my parents choosing to keep our family in an unsafe situation. Very, 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 very poor decision on your parents' part. I've had several conversations with my parents about how these experiences negatively affected me. Each time I bring it up and try to have an honest conversation about how this has hurt me, my parents dismiss my feelings or get very defensive. Due to their reactions, I have long given up on trying to talk with them and work through these experiences with them. How do I move on in my relationship with my parents? How do I move on in healing my relationship with them? Your help and advice is truly appreciated. That's really rough. That is definitely a tough one. I went into this blind, so I totally thought it was going to be like, Dad's a dick and he's dead to me. Because that's my situation. I don't think, I really don't think that if your parents are willing to mend anything, I know that you may have some trauma there, as you stated in your post here. But I would definitely kind of just move on yourself. Like, don't even bring it up with them. Don't do anything. Just let it be, because I don't think there's any fixing that. To be honest with you, it is what it is. Your parents are who they are. There's going to be nothing that you can do to change that at all. Move on. I would move on with your life. And as far as that, and that's as far as your parents go. As far as your situation of your trauma that affects you, the only way to really heal from that is to look deep within yourself and find out who you truly are and how that trauma affected you and what it's changed in you from being your person, and then try to bring that back. Therapy is also definitely an option. Don't ever take that off the table. But you're going to have to, as far as your parents are concerned, you're just going to have to either A, cut them loose, or just move past it and just stop bringing it up. It's really sucks to say that. Like, your parents should definitely be somewhere that you can go to be safe and have open, safe conversation. But in this case, I think that's just how it is. And then just work on yourself. That's what I would do if I was in your situation, which I can't imagine. I don't know what country you're from or anything like that. But yeah, that's how I would look at that. Just let that go with your parents and focus on working on yourself, because clearly your parents have some working on themselves to do as well if they're going to sit there and not even pay attention to how you feel for the situations you were put in. Yeah, that's actually a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Well, that will be it for today. Shorty episode today. Uh, but obviously, come back. Send me an email. Give you some advice. Be detailed. Have a title. Send me some, and I'll put you in an episode. And, you know, obviously, thank you for listening. You have a good rest of your day.